Hi everyone, welcome back. Today let me see how to paint a beautiful foreground winter mountain and water bank. I feel that winter scenes and the landscape convey the quietness and a restful space to enjoy in our inner soul. Staying off of captures the purity and the stillness gives the bright witness of snow, offering a powerful subject for artistic expression. So we are going to observe the images, the snow mountain subtle colors value changes as light hits the snow, reflects the sky. We can experiment with the techniques using palette knife to create textures and direct snow effect on mountain to create depth and shadow. Let me see what are the materials I am going to use here. I am using 10 by 12 canvas board, brushes Filbert 16, small mark brush, flat brush 12, zero fan brush, round brush 2, long Bristle linear brush, palette knife number 1, and Cobalt Blue, Crimson Lake, Sap Green, Orange, Lemon Yellow, Black and White. Just moistening my palette and using Filbert Brush 16, picking some white for making glowing sun. Then along with the same white, grab little lemon yellow, just come around near white. Using tapping techniques, the tapping technique is one of a painting technique. As it is, I am coming to grab little orange and lemon yellow, come around near lemon yellow, just applying paint in short, quick with repetitive touches to creating this texture. Next, picking a little crimson lake and white, mixing with our previous pretty this, and again I'm doing a lot of little taps around this. And next, grab some cobalt blue and mixing of this and start extreme left corner of the canvas board. Start the same kind of tapping techniques step by step. Here I am adding little more darky stone, so because of that I am adding crimson lake along with this blue and start to create this sky texture. Blending is nothing but merging of two or more colors on a brush with gradually sweeping horizontal brush strokes from one edge to another edge to get smooth and realistic look to painting. When we are coming near to the sun, adding little more orange and lemon yellow, again doing lots of little taps around it. Here is dabbing is a painting technique where is mixing of any one, two or more acrylic paint, mixing together then applied to a surface of the canvas using a brushes or sponge in a dabbing motion. Dabbing techniques picking up paint with your brush and dabbing repeatedly on the surface of the canvas. These techniques' beauty lies in the ability to produce a textured appearance resembling variant surfaces, such as softness of clouds, the roughness of tree bark, or the intensity of foliage by varying the pressure and density of the dabbing. You can slowly but surely create stunning composition made just individual dabbing strokes. Now I am going to blend the colors together for merging each other. So using a small dry mob brush, touch white and start circular motion where blending the white from center outward. I am using left toward the left of the canvas, starting the blending from warm medium soft circular shape for the sun. Now we are going to paint the misty sky with the sun. So avoid harsh lines using circular motion brush stroke, especially around the sun. Just a smooth and soft blending from the light circular to the darkest ones to the smooth gradient without harsh lines. Just blending outwards whenever acrylic dry quickly, so work fast. Always focusing, just start by applying circular motion the lightest color to the center of the area to the blending very smooth transition. Just leave this base of the background, leave it to dry. Let me come back to the create the glowing sun here. And the important, avoiding overlapping the colors too much. The colors should be match each other, do not leave it layer by layer. once finished the sky background, now going to create the outline of mountain. The steps to going to create the outline of mountain using flat brush size 12 and picking some cobalt blue, crimson lake, black and sap green, mixing well together and load the paint with my brush to creating the outline of mountain peaks just lightly this right background. We are not creating the distance mountain, just we can give less detail with lighter and less focused is distant mountain, but we are creating the foreground mountain, so we are going to give more detail here. So just to fill up the color you need first. Now we are creating our base of the mountain and once leave it to dry. Next, I am going to give more detail on it because it's foreground mountain, not a distance mountain. The lighter detail enough to the distance mountain. So here I am adding little more crimson lake and make a darkish base. But your wish, you can add a more cobalt blue instead of this more crimson lake. So if you are adding cobalt blue instead of more crimson lake, so that you can get a little bluish base. Now just indicate the sun position and make little more glowing. The sun is glow by adding more white with my brush and spread it and such a way. Next applying the yellow around it and blending the edges outward. It is going to give a bright effect to the sun's glow. Here is dabbing is a painting technique where is mixing of any one, two or more acrylic paint, mixing together then applied to a surface of the canvas using a brushes or sponge in a dabbing motion. Dabbing techniques picking up paint with your brush and dabbing repeatedly on the surface of the canvas. These techniques' beauty lies in the ability to produce a textured appearance resembling variant surfaces, such as softness of clouds, the roughness of tree bark, or the intensity of foliage by varying the pressure and density of the dabbing. You can slowly but surely create stunning composition made just individual dabbing strokes. Next, using my finger, grab some pure white, just dabbing at the center to create bright suns highlighting. Now, adding some cobalt blue along with the previous one, mixing well and apply bottom of the canvas. Here later we will come back for the highlighting and going to create mist effect at the bottom of the mountain and going to create silhouette pine tree and going to highlighting of the pine tree with snow accumulation. Next, adding some crimson lake mixing with the previous and going to create a base of the land first to make the outline of this and then fill the colors in it and the horizontal back and forth brush stroke. Next, to create the base of the water bank too. Adding some cobalt blue with this and grab the paint, just start to create the base of the water extreme of the canvas from here to go upward. Using a short horizontal brush stroke, the corner of the base of the land. Next, come forward little by little here, deepen the shadow around the bank to create the more contrast and depth. Sure that we are extending the sun reflection on the water surface. First adding white with the vertical stroke center, then adding lemon yellow both sides of the white. Next time coming to the horizontal brush strokes using back and forth short brush strokes to create the sense and base of light reflection. Next adding little orange both sides and next little crimson lake mixing with lemon yellow using the same back and forth short brush strokes. Later we will come back here for the highlighting. Blending is nothing but merging of two or more colors on a brush with gradually sweeping horizontal brush strokes from one edge to another edge to get smooth and realistic look to painting. Adding more cobalt blue, little crimson lake mixing well, just start to create a snow and depth to base of the land and mountain too. Using the same back and forth brush strokes for land. Here I am coming to the mountain, just I am making the shadow side and light hitting side too. I am coming like to the canvas downwards in the direction of the slope and leave it a couple of minutes dry. Well, once the base is settled, next I am going to highlighting of this, the base of the mountain, just going to, that will bring the light too. Try to paint in shorter strokes for the best coverage in acrylic painting. Don't press too hard on the brush while you are painting. Give strokes gently without giving or adding any pressure. Whenever you feel hard to paint, wet your brush with water before painting. Now once the base is dried well, using my palette knife, picking some and more white and creating the snow colors, mixing with the previous color, just to scoop up the paint with my palette knife, one edge to the another edge and just hold on it 45-degree way, just drag the paint from this top peak of the mountain, just drag the paint onto the canvas from the peak downwards in the direction of the slope. Just do it as I am doing. The color of the sky is reflected in the snow. Always try to paint in shorter strokes for the best coverage in acrylic painting. Don't press too hard on the brush while you are painting. Give strokes gently without giving and adding any pressure. Whenever you feel hard to paint, wet your brush with water before painting. Now picking some lemon yellow and mixing it white well together and drag the paint downwards the canvas from the peak to reflect the sun here and for the warm sunlit highlighting. Snow is not just a white always, it reflects always the sky and the surroundings light. I am blocking this right side, the main snow areas with the light. Already here only with the right side only we created the glowing sun in the sky. So here adding little crimson like some white and lemon yellow mixing well together and just drag it downwards here like this. Now mixing snow colors to the shadow areas is not direct sunlight. So because of that I am picking cobalt blue and some white mixing well together to creating the shadowy area right side here. Here this is not direct sunlight area. This is the mountain from the make it look three-dimensional and there is marks here to apply the different values mixes. We are going to get a clear divisions between the light area and shadowy side here. Adding more cobalt blue with a little titanium white, mix well and apply this shadow. Mix well the side of the mountain totally away from the light source. Distance mountain appear cooler and lighter using less contrast and more muted colors in the background, but we are creating the foreground mountain only. Just add build up the layers, use heavier strokes to create the natural folds and drifts of the snow. Color blending and mixing are the very essential and most important techniques in acrylic painting that need to learn. The color mixing, we are combining two or more pigments to create entirely and new colors. This one is the main skill that you have to learn and build in art. There is nothing what kind of medium you use. Color theory is the key of color mixing. The primary colors red, blue and yellow are the foundation. When we are combining primary colors of any two in varying proportions can produce secondary colors of green, orange and purple. And just on the sunlight slopes, catching the light from the brightest highlight. For this brightest highlighting using thick buttery titanium white applied with a palette knife, just drag to catch the light and add realism to sparkle of the snow. There is the brightest effect on the snow for the sunlit areas, ensuring there is the distinct from the shadows using our palette knives to slicing on the snow for sharp realistic edges on the sunlit slopes, catching the light for the brightest highlight. Palette knives are also many important activity tools used in the art, and always palette knives are used for mixing oils or acrylic and all types of paint for the smooth and color combination. How we are using brush in that artwork as it is through doing the multiple role of mixing, applying paint, creating texture, blending color details work. Always we can using the apply put on canvas in thick layers and the coats. Then brushes. Palette knives are using the blending the colors on the canvas to represent natural light and shadows. Creating soft transition convey emotion in sense of the energy to guiding the edge through the composition. It always helps to create seamless blendings, colors and tones. Palette knife can be recreated the texture effects to add depth, interest in visual and emotional by dragging, scrubbing the paint in artwork. Here is the rough texture to represent and just adding the depth, highlighting and the shadows, visual complexity to the painting. Always detail work add depth in painting can create the strong in artwork to experiment with the specific areas of the painting. A broken color application skips on the canvas, giving it a random colors effect over this palette knife techniques for the color won't be smooth. Here even the applications making the great for the background art landscapes. A paint with a loaded palette knife, apply thick strokes, pressing the knife down slightly on a slight angle. This helps the knife to push the paint and create strokes. As you apply the paint in all directions and scrape the paint in the other, you will get uneven broken textures. And start to scoop up a little paint and just to apply using a flat sides of the knife. Just press the paint onto the first color, then spread it downward. This kind of blending will help lighter or darken the tone of the first color. Continue this process with pressing is the press the colors into the others rather than sweeping motions, just side to side horizontally the color around, blend it. An acrylic painting, we can build new colors and create transparency, depth and gradation easily with layering. For this layering techniques, we need to wet each layer dry before applying the next. If we apply wet paint over a wet layer, the colors may blend in ways we did not intend. So good one that as we can apply wet paint over wet for easily color mixing. using Filbert Brush, picking some white, mixing with a little bit of Cobalt Blue, make a semi-watery effect, lightly brush the paint, right base of the bottom of the mountain here, this area where we want to create the misty effect, and just blending small circular motion, softly, gently blending the mountain space here, one corner to the another corner, where here only the fog would naturally accumulate, and continue blending and smudging each layer, a soft seamless transition here to enhance the illusion of the misty atmosphere. Next, using flat brush, picking some more sap green and some black, mixing well together just to create the silhouette effect of the distant pine tree at the bottom of this mountain. This is the base layer. Next, for the highlighting, zero fan brush, adding second layer with white for snow covered branches. There is fine details, trees are soft and rosy. It will the misty there and the distance along the horizon line. The first thing is understand your medium. Acrylic paints are a versatile and forgiving medium, making them perfect for those just dipping their brushes into the world of landscape painting. They dry quickly, allowing you to layer and blend colors with ease. And they are water soluble, meaning you can adjust their consistency to suit your desired effect. Acrylic medium, the only limit is your imagination. Remember, the paints are more than just tools. They are your partners on this creative journey. The more you understand them, the good sketches your roadmap to a successful painting. Now we are going to highlighting the land. The highlighting for the land, picking some cobalt blue and white, mixing well using Filbert brush and using the circular motion way just to create the snow beds, the base of the land. Next, going to highlight on it just as it is the same way, snow on water surface, creating the small and tiny base on the water surface too. The way you hold your brushes can play a role in acrylic painting. The type of brush you can use impact the appearances of brush strokes. You can use brushes with synthetic bristles brushes, generally best for acrylic painting. It can be stiff or soft. Surface structure is very important. A smooth surface will result in good visible brush strokes. Try to experimenting with different techniques and different brushes in acrylic painting. Consider some factors that may affect the visibility of brush strokes in your painting. What is brush stroke? Creating your thoughts, what you are seeing, what you are imagining into a form of painting by using brush on the canvas. Every brush stroke is a beautiful art of painting and a lifeblood of a creation painted. Each of a color of a vivid, lively painting brings additional shape and evaluation. Each sides on the canvas are telling one of the many puzzle triggers that can come together to convey the emotional reactions of the viewers for a living. Standing in the distance without touching a painting can feel its presence, shape, depth, beauty and life. So different brushes and their brush strokes are playing multi-role of painting. In every painting that whether it looks beauty or not but convey one thing, all corner of all the canvas in every painting and colors also are soul of painting, heart feeling that pumps vibrancy into every corner of canvas, and every brush strokes are silently telling, whispering for telling some stories in every painting. Then going to highlighting and give more depth of shadow here. So I am picking some cobalt blue and crimson lake, mixing well together. Grab the paint using here the tiny horizontal brush strokes to create depth and movement. Water reflects the color of sky and surroundings landscape. Again come back here to establish the reflection on water surface. I am extending the same sky color down into the water surface using round brush to blend the colors with white, yellow, orange and soft pink to create sun's reflection on the water below here using tiny short horizontal brush strokes. Adding this detail to the sun's reflection on the water surface rebuilds by pulling water tiny horizontally and break up few areas and reflection using wet on wet for soft edges. The sun's glowing by adding more white and yellow to the reflection in the water. The center here, it's going to highlight the bright effect, blending the edges outward. Adding light blue for more intense ripples. Reflections always not being hard edges, lightly blending the edges in the water base. No need to keep the hard edges here, highlighting the blending the edges in the water base. Sun City highlighting with the light blue pulling outward back and forth brush strokes. As it is the same way, start with the shadows towards the cool tones reflecting the color of the sky. Using flat brush holding vertically to highlighting of the snow accumulate on land. Round brush too very perfect to create this pure titanium white for brighten area. Sun hitting the snow directly. Pure white to create highlighting on the water surface to create frost and ice too. Citing applying of wet paint to a dry surface. This technique not allow spread paint means preventing the paint from spreading and also control brush strokes with sharper edges, then allows for precise application, uniformity and highlighting the detailing, creating a specific shape of painting within the artwork. This technique most often used in acrylics and advantages of drying the paint very fast whenever this technique helpful for adding details in painting such soft blended clouds, sharp edges of trees and more. The near press picking some sap green and crimson lake mixing well together to creating the once more deeper highlighting of the shadow underneath of snow bed, and just need the water bank edges going deeper the shadow around the bank to create more contrast and depth. Creating some of the softer and darker reflection line, a lighter transparent ice formation of the water surface. The water near the horizon will be lighter, gradually becoming deeper and the darker towards the bottom of the canvas and near the edges of the land too. Creating grass effect using the short flick motion and vary the direction, create the grass and snowfall on it too. I believe that this will help you to learn and make your own, and I meet you in my next painting. Explore your idea and inspiration too. Don't feel hard to try and make it your own paintings. I think detail of this painting and the colors combinations inspiring you. If you are the absolute beginner and would like to learn an easy techniques try this painting, I am welcoming you. Come and join to paint in my art journey. If you feel little harder to paint today this means put you a little practice. You feel easier to do tomorrow. While learning something new, give yourselves a little break. No one is perfect at painting when they first start.